Hi, this is Granger Flint from the Geneseo Blue Devils. Welcome to the Village Tavern Game of the Week.
Ian, talk about this year's team. What's your expectations for this year's team?
Do great things.
You know, how you guys been working hard in the off season? Talk about that.
We lifted throughout the summer and got stronger, and we're on this program. Came out here in the morning to do some conditioning and pass routes.
You know, talk about this year's team as far as team chemistry. You guys feel like you're a close-knit group?
Definitely.
Talk about how important that is to your chemistry.
It's very, because if you don't have good chemistry, you won't do the plays right at 100%. If you don't do that, you're not going to win games.
You know, there's no secret that Dansville's really struggled the last couple of years in Division I. It's obviously a tough division.
Yep.
You know, this year, what's your expectations for this year's team?
To win multiple games, all of them, I want to say.
All right. Well, you got a Geneseo team this year. Obviously, coming down a smaller school than you guys, playing in Division III. You know, obviously they got some pretty good athletes, tough matchups. What's your expectations for Friday night in Geneseo?
Go out, play hard, have a good game, and win it.
Ready, go! Come on, Eli! Hey!
Ryan, talk about Dansville. What's this game mean to you Friday night? Obviously, there's some implications so early in the season. Coach was talking about making sectionals. Talk about Dansville Friday.
Oh, it means a lot to us. I mean, coming off a so good season, we're after it. We want it, and we can get that W.
What are some of the things that, you know, you've seen Dansville on tape right now, some of the things that they concern you a little bit with? How do they look?
They like to run up the gut a lot, so we're going to be preparing for that all week. We have done that start of season.
Taking tempo!
Talk about, you offensively. You guys are out here kind of clicking a little bit today, spreading them around, changing things up a little bit. Offensively, how do you think Dansville is going to respond to what you guys bring to the table?
We got a lot of skill guys. We can move guys around, so hopefully what we have will give us the results.
Talk about, Dansville. You guys probably got some friends over there, the little bragging rights involved, Geneseo, Dansville. Talk a little bit about that, how fun that'll be.
Yeah, we got some friends over there, but when we get to game time, we're not friends anymore. It's time to go.
Evan, junior running back, you put up a good amount of yards last year. Talk about what, offensively, what you guys are bringing to the table this year.
We're bringing speed and good blocking at the line. I figure we can run a lot on Geneseo.
Talk about the Geneseo matchup. You saw them on film. I mean, what are some of the things that they do that might concern you, and what do you think some of the things that you guys can do against them?
They got some pretty quick guys, but I know we've been working on tackling, and we can definitely stop them.
You guys play in a rugged Division I. Livingston County D1's really tough. Do you think there's an advantage to you guys playing at that level? Now all of a sudden you drop down to see a Division III school. Talk about that.
I'd like to say there's advantage, but we can't be thinking that. We got to think that they're a good team, and we got to compete and play.
Talk about, the season. What's your expectations for the season this year?
I expect to win every game, and it's a strong opinion, but, I think we can do it.
Talk about the guys up front. They're the ones leading the way for you. Talk about the big boys that do the job up front for you guys.
We've been working a lot in the off-season with lifting, and they've gotten, a lot better and put in some hard work, so I think it's going to go well.
Ready, go.
Granger, talk about this year's team. What's the focus?
Focus is just going out there every day and, doing our job and making sure, we're, focused every play.
Talk about, last year, you coming off a sectional title 2 years ago. Last year, obviously, was not the same season, didn't win a ball game. How do you guys take that momentum of last year and kind of put it forward to this season?
Well, I mean, it kind of, it gives us a bad taste in our mouth, so we come out, a little bit more angry than, anyone else.
Talk about this Friday night with Dansville. You've seen them on tape a little bit so far. What are some of your concerns about Dansville Friday?
Well, Dansville, they're a tough running team. They run up the gut a lot. Just run it down your throat. And but we got some big guys up front. Big Mike McCauley and George Shaw, who we're hoping they can stuff the run.
Go, Ranger! Playing, and obviously they're gonna come down here and say, well, we play Division I football. There's some pretty decent teams in Division III. Is that kind of fair to say? Talk about your preparation for your division, playing up a couple levels.
Oh, we just go out and do the same thing we do every time, and just make sure we go hard. I mean, we're preparing for them like we prepare for everyone else.
There seems to be a real belief that this team maybe can make some noise like 2 years ago did. How's that feel?
It feels good. It feels a lot better than last year, where it was we knew we had a lot of young guys, not a lot of experience, but now we have a lot more experience because everyone had to play.
Be better. Let's go. Give him a shot and then roll. Set.
You start with a tricky Geneseo team, a non-division opponent going down on their turf. They got some speed on the outside. I'm sure that concerns you. Talk about what you've seen with Geneseo that that you're thinking Friday night might help you guys. And
Well, it's tough with the first sweep because nobody's coming off a game. Everybody's coming off a scrimmage, and it's hard to trade scrimmage tapes. And Geneseo's just subscribed to that huddle thing. So we traded what we had. And it's hard to tell because, like I say, it's at a scrimmage. The camera's at a low level, so it's hard to tell alignments and stuff like that. But you can tell they got some speed. They got an offense which looks a little weird, something that we don't face normally. And, we're just going to stick with our fundamentals and hopefully play good, sound football.
You guys have had a lot of success. I know you guys have really struggled in Division I over the last 4 or 5 years, but you've had some success outside of the division. You think that might motivate your kids a little bit to kind of play well outside your division early?
Well, I'll tell you what, Division I, as you guys know, is tough. It could be, we've said it for a long time, it could be the toughest small school division in the state. So banging heads year in and year out with like the Livonia and Hornell and Wellsville and Whalen and those guys makes us better. It just makes us better. So I think that gives us the confidence, knowing that we play in the toughest division in the state. I think it gives us the confidence when we do cross over. I think we go in believing even more normally that we're going to win the game.
In here today, you guys seem like a pretty close-knit group that works hard. Looks like you got some blue-collar kids out there.
It's a nice group. They are. This could be the best working group we've had in a long time. Numbers are down, and I think we got 21 here ready to hit today. I think we have 26 or 27 on the roster, but for a bunch of reasons, it's always hard to get the maximum here every day. But they're a hard-working group. I like our backfield. They work hard. I like our receivers and quarterback. They work hard. We got some questions up front. But if they keep working hard, and we're only going to get better. So we'll see what happens.
Talking to Evan, he said it was a pretty good offseason for the group. It seems like the kids are working a little harder than they maybe in the last couple of years. Talk about how important it is for these kids to kind of keep this their weight room regimen.
We went to a different weightlifting program this spring, early spring. We started in January. And Coach Eric Snyder, who's over there, he kind of took it over. So he put in all the numbers and came out with all the lists and kind of, in his way, got the kids to come in and lift. And once you get in, it's like anything else. Once you start, it's easier. So it's that whole getting started thing that's tough. But we got started early, and they hung together pretty good.
Is there a sense of pride with this year's team that, maybe the last couple of years teams have really struggled playing in Division I, but is there a sense of, maybe this team wants to turn that over a little bit, maybe make some noise?
We talk about that. We talk about how we struggled in Division I last 10 years. We also talk a lot about how it's important to a lot of people in Dansville, guys that graduated from high school 40 years ago and that kind of thing. Because we have that Wall of Fame dinner every year, and every year if somebody from the football team gets up and says something about it, I get the paper. I don't care if I live in Utah or Florida or Canada. I get the paper. I'm always following you guys. So we talk about that, try to instill that pride in them. So the past, like for example, last year's record one and whatever, I don't think it's a factor. If we come out, these kids come out with a lot of enthusiasm and vigor right from the get-go.
People, I gotta be careful about how I answer this. How's the team look this year? You know what I stick to? I like this group a lot. This is a hard-working group. I like this group. They show up, they work hard, a lot of the same qualities that we try to push every year, like that we don't have to push you in sprints, you push each other. Right, we've talked about not getting on each other and screaming each other down, but picking each other up, and we're doing it. You're not going easy on each other, but you're being smart about how you get on each other so that it's positive, so that it's productive.
Coach Dogus, obviously last year was a learning experience. You talk about this year being cautiously optimistic. Talk about this year.
I love the group of guys that we have. They've been working hard from day one. They came out. Nobody was really talking about last year, but there's been an attitude. The kids that have been in the weight room in the off season, they're mad, and that was what they needed to be mad. They didn't enjoy the last season. Obviously, they enjoy playing football, but that's not the brand of football they expected to play. And so I think the work they did in the off season put us in a position to be exactly as competitive as we need to be, and put us right in the mix with everybody that we're going to play this season.
Obviously, you don't want to talk about big games so early in the season, but talking to your kids, I mean, Dansville Friday night's a big game for sexual implications because there's only 4 teams that make it in D. Talk about how big that game is with Dansville Friday.
Well, I mean, for us, that's obviously Dansville's Class C. They're a good program. They play really hard-nosed football. We know they're going to be tough. We know they're going to hit hard up front. They got really good skill kids that are back. Yeah, I mean, for us, that's, I mean, there's no such thing as a make-it-or-break-it game or a game that, you know, until the end of the season that really makes or breaks your season. But this one's definitely, it's something that could go a long way for us in terms of really letting us know where we are on that scale with all the teams that we're playing in Livingston County. And there's not a lot that separates any of the teams in our classification, and to come out and play with, to beat a team like Dansville, it's important. It's really important for our guys.
All right, family on 3, family on 3. 1, 2, 3, family!
You know, I mean, them being in Division 1 in Livingston County, you guys in Division 3, how big a win would that be for a 3 to kind of step up a couple levels and take out a team like Dansville that comes out of the mighty D1?
Well, I mean, you know, obviously that's one of the things our guys have to understand is that the biggest thing we have to get is the level of competition they play. It's different. You know, they see bigger, stronger teams week in, week out. There's no doubt about it. That means that their level of preparation, that's what we can't let be different. We have to prepare for a team that plays against an even tougher schedule than we do. That's the biggest thing. I mean, for us, though, like you hit the nail on the head, it's still 1 win or 1 loss, and either way, that's huge. 1 loss could keep us out. So in that regard, we can't afford to lose, really look at any of the games on our schedule and say, well, if we drop that one, we need this one as much or more as any game on the schedule. To beat a team that's bigger than us, I mean, it would feel great, but to be honest, we're not going out there feeling like it's all right if we drop one to a big school either. We can't afford to.